Yo, guys, welcome back to the Famous Chili Podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Check us out on all platforms at Famous Chili Pod. Guys, there's something I wanted to talk about to you guys for a while.
What's up?
Me and my roommates, we watched a bit of Harry Potter recently, right? And Harry Potter is a great series, right? Great franchise. We all love
Great
it.
series.
Great books, great movies. They're making the TV show now, which we'll see. We'll see what's up with that. But I'm watching it, and I don't know what it is. There's too many things that I watch in Harry Potter now and just start memeing. Like there's some things that I just find so funny, and I'm realizing like if this came out today, would I still like this? Like, do you think that if these series came out today, do you think it still generally is a good franchise, or is it just our nostalgia like making it good?
Okay.
Which
series are you talking? Like,
Harry Potter.
Harry
Potter.
Okay.
This is actually kind of interesting. I feel like I wouldn't say it's an equal split of nostalgia and just good like film production, but I'd say it's pretty tipped towards nostalgia because I feel like you always have that one thing in your childhood which you watch and you always remember back and you plug that in with your past memories, and one of that is Harry Potter. Like for me, I read all the books, and after I read a book, I'd watch the movie with my dad and my mom. You know, like that's like core memory for me when I'm a childhood. But if we were to rewatch them today, it wouldn't hit the same because I feel like now I feel like now like once you grow, you become more overly critical of movies, right? So like,
That's definitely
like,
Ari for sure.
What do you, bro? You guys
You're
are the
so
ones
critical. You're so critical.
Dude, for movies? For movies, I'm the
Or
last
maybe
person
just
to
in
judge
general.
movies.
Maybe just
Bro,
in
what the hell are you
general.
talking
I don't think
you guys were giving shit to me for watching Barbershop. Like,
it's not about the movie.
No.
bro.
Whoa. We didn't give
Christmas.
shit to you about watching Barbershop. We gave shit to you because you said it was your favorite Christmas movie.
I
That's
still
why we
stand on
gave you
that. No,
shit.
I still stand on that.
Oh my god.
If I'm an overly critic like movie person, I wouldn't be singing the praises of Barbershop. Like,
Maybe.
or maybe I would.
I
No,
agree.
you know what? Yeah. Barbershop deserves the praises, man.
It's not the Christmas movie though, bro.
But
Like
yeah, I think I kind of disagree with you, Hrishi. I think for me, it would be more so the fact that it's nostalgic for me because it's because you always go back to the first time you watched or you read the book and that feeling you got. And I think that's what's nostalgic about it. But what gave you that feeling? It was the fact that that movie was good or that book was good. Those plot points, the suspense, the character development was all really good. And I think that just is a testament to the the book, the story itself, right? So I don't think you can really take away from the fact that the plot is good because I think every time, because at a certain point, every single literature or movie is going to be off of nostalgia because you already know what's going to happen. So it's no longer like part of making a movie or book good is that suspense aspect of it, right? And when that goes away because you already know what's going to happen, yeah, it's nostalgia, but that nostalgia is derived from the feeling you got the first time you watched or the first time you read something, right? So I think it's unfair to say it's completely nostalgia or it's unfair to take away the aspect that is good because it's still good. It's just you already know what's gonna happen, right?
No one's doubting that.
No one
good.
said that, bro.
Yeah.
I said it was just slightly tipped towards nostalgia. That's the reason we like it so much.
Because
I said it wasn't
there's
equal
some
split.
scenes. Exactly. There's some scenes that if you watch it today, you will die laughing at. Like there's things that I watch now and I just laugh at it instead of finding
give an
it,
example.
Amazing. Like there's shit that's just so corny. Like in Goblet of Fire, right? Harry walks into the giant tent and he's just like, "I love magic," and I'm like, it just feels so corny to me. I don't know what it is. Like it's just weird. Like it's just
That is not what I
don't
was
think that was
thinking.
the
or also okay.
moment.
The obvious one also that we always like to do is in Deathly Hallows Part 2. You know, Harry goes to accept his death. You know, and Voldemort
Oh, that one.
goes there, and it's obviously very dramatic. I love the music also is beautiful. Like it slowly builds up like that screeching. It's like Harry Potter, the boy who lived, come to die. Like I don't know. I always just found that really funny. But my question to you, Prem,
there
is
was
like,
there was another one that I was thinking of, but it's okay.
Which one?
It was the one where that little boy who's constantly shown. I think it's in Chamber of Secrets.
Oh,
Or
Colin.
no, it was the African American
Creevy.
guy. And then
The
the
Grim.
one where he,
The
the one where he goes like this after.
Neville.
That was so
I remember.
funny.
I always showed that video to people because I have it recorded when we realized that. Because when
Oh,
it
yeah,
was during
when
the
we're at my
summer,
house,
we
right?
watched
We're
it.
watching it.
No,
yeah.
we're at Nishk's. We're at Nishk's.
Oh, never mind.
We were watching the fifth movie, and it's just during the duel scene in between Ron and Hermione. They're all like panning through all the people. It's that black guy who always talks about like the Grim drops in like the coldest one-liners and then is never seen again. And Neville's standing right next to him, and right as it pans over them, Neville just goes like this, like right in front of him. Which
Yeah.
it's definitely wasn't intentional, but we just found that funny. But Prem, if you're saying it's purely just about the good story, why do you not feel the same level of love for the Percy Jackson show that just came out? Because Percy Jackson, story-wise, was great, but you're not going to sit here and tell me that you think that that's anywhere near the Harry Potter franchise to you.
Yeah, because I mean, it's all again. It's because of the story, is what I'm saying. I think the story is way better in Harry Potter than it is for Percy Jackson.
Oh shit!
That was
He did not
perfect
agree with that
timing.
at all.
He did not agree with that. His room did not
at
agree with
all. Wait,
Fucking
pause.
Ollie, man.
So you're saying that the Percy Jackson series, this plot and the story behind it, is
Is
better
he not
than
moving?
that
I
of
don't
Harry
understand.
Potter?
Can you guys see me? Like,
Yeah, we can see you now.
What just happened?
His light turned off.
no, the lights didn't just turn off. My fucking, I don't know what's been happening in my room. Like, every now and then, all electricity just shuts down. Like everything just fucked off. Like the rest of the house is fine.
It's
Like, I can
just
still
your
hear-
room.
I can still hear the TV in like the living room going.
It's
but
just your room.
My room just shut down. Like I had no lights or anything.
The house
That's
has
so
a
interesting.
bias against you, bro.
Against Percy Jackson. That's the
Yeah,
stupidest take I've heard.
Zeus. It's
ever.
Zeus, bro.
That is the stupidest take I've heard ever. Like even
Percy
as a
Jackson's a
fan
way
of-
better story. Off the
than
books?
Harry Potter?
Hell yeah.
The movies.
Oh, bro, you can't, bro. Movies. Percy
We're
Jackson's
talking
movies
about
don't
movies
even
right
count,
now, bro.
No, we're talking about
movies
plot
right now.
points, bro.
If we're talking about plot points, then the Percy Jackson show follows the book. Percy Jackson's show
Dude,
followed
I'm
the
not
book
talking
pretty
about the
well.
show, movie, book. I'm just talking about the story, bro. I'm saying the story is way better for Harry Potter than it is for Percy Jackson, which is why my nostalgia is not it's like not the same. You know what I mean? It's different. Like
Okay.
for Percy Jackson, the nostalgia is so much more there because it's not that much better of a story. But with Harry Potter,
Am I the only one that's a little confused right now?
I feel like Prim just like sided with us
Yeah,
for a
he
second.
just
Like,
I have no idea what he just
no.
said. at all.
I'm saying it's more nostalgic for Percy Jackson, right? Because there's two parts. There's two parts. There's nostalgia and story, right? For
Mhm.
Harry Potter, Hrishi's saying it tips into nostalgia a little bit more. I'm saying no, it tips into the storytelling a lot more because it's a way better story. With Percy Jackson, I'm saying it tips into the nostalgia a lot more because it's an inferior story.
Okay, I see what
That's
you're
what
saying.
I'm saying.
You're saying because you think Harry Potter's plot is so much better than Percy Jackson's, it doesn't rely as heavily on the nostalgia.
100%.
Because Percy Jackson lacks.
I-
That's a terrible take in my opinion.
Yeah,
But
I kind of have a counterpoint to that.
I at least
hell?
understand what you're saying.
I kind of counterpoint to that because I feel like when you watch Percy Jackson, you already go in with some sense of knowledge of Greek mythology, right? Because I feel like a lot of the reason that people enjoy Percy Jackson so much is because it's
The
rooted
parallels.
from Greek mythology. So you can relate to it. Like, oh, like in class I've read about Zeus, like I've read about Poseidon, I've read about all these Greek gods, and then you can relate to that way. So
Yeah.
that's where I think the story is a lot more relatable in the sense of what you've seen. Harry Potter is just like it's magic. Like it's a world of magic. It's so intricate. The small little things, the amount of small sensory details that they go to in the movies, in the books, everything down to like the last small plot point is so well created. But I just think the nostalgia factor of Harry Potter is just too strong for anyone else to care about the movies. Like I'm talking about the majority of people. Maybe we're more critical and we care more about the plot, but the majority of the people.
Well,
are
man,
just
you're
watching
asking
Harry
me, man.
Potter for the feeling. For the feeling. I'm just saying, in the general point, people are watching it for the feeling of watching a Harry Potter.
You know what? And
Why do you
that's
think people
true.
rewatch it during Christmas.
I was gonna
You know what
say
I'm
that is literally what they used to put on the commercials for the Christmas marathons of Harry Potter. They used to literally like show the clip of him saying "I love magic" and they'd say as a voiceover, "Experience the feeling of magic," and it's like that's literally what it is. Like,
Yeah.
Prem,
but yeah,
you're just wrong, bro. Like, I'm just trying to think about like
I
sometimes
think
when
you're
we
just
say things-
disillusioned
how so?
because of literally what I just said. Like what else am I supposed to say, bro?
Either
um,
way, though, another thing I've kind of come to realize about Harry Potter is that when it comes to Voldemort, I don't think he's that good of a villain. And it made me start to question other like popular villains that we see in movies and TV shows. So I want to get your opinions on some of like the major villains we see in media, and we're gonna decide whether they are actually good villains or if they're just in good movies.
Sure.
okay.
Okay. So I'm gonna go through a list of the most popular villains. We're gonna decide if they're good villains or just in good movies, right? So we can start with Voldemort. Do you think Voldemort is generally a good villain?
Can we get like a benchmark for like a good villain? Like, what's the most
Exactly.
average villain ever?
So that's up to you, right? What to you makes like a character a good villain? Like, do they need to be relatable? Do you think they need to have like a good motive? Because like we see now, like the Mufasa movie, they're trying to
I
kind
was
of
about to say
justify
that.
like Scar's actions. Whereas like
Yeah.
back in the day, he was just like this jealous guy. He just wanted the thing. But now they try to justify it. Like, why are they trying
So,
to do that?
so
You
that's
know?
my benchmark, right? So my benchmark is two things. One, if you have a valid reason for why you're doing what you're doing, right? In Scar's case, I think that he's a very good villain. And two, if they have a real and either or, so it could be a or an and, right? Where it's like it, it could have that as well as character development, right? For example, in Avatar: The Last Airbender, Zuko was the villain, but had such a big character development, and by the end, he was kind of on their side, right? Like I thought he was a
I disagree with that though. Like, a villain doesn't need to have that redemption necessarily.
no. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying and or like it could be both
Oh, okay, okay.
or either one.
Mhm.
So yeah, either one. So I think for which is why like it took me a second for Voldemort, but I think you're right. I don't think he's like the best villain, right? Because he's just in a good movie and he's the villain of the good movie because he doesn't no one really knows his backstory. Like, yeah, the Tom Riddle stuff, but like what motivated him to do that?
Nothing. He was just different. That's all it was. He
That
was
like and
different than
that's
everyone
Like
stupid,
else.
right?
he
Like
got bullied a little bit.
yeah,
Like
but
Yeah,
that
like
but like
like
I
don't get
think
me
there was
wrong.
no rooted
Obviously,
development. There was no
they
rooted development.
tried. They tried to develop him at least in the movie. Maybe in the books, and I'm forgetting they did go into more detail, but I don't think they did. I feel like they
I don't
tried
think
to
they did.
show that he was mistreated and bullied as a kid, but that doesn't necessarily justify the extent of what he's trying
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah.
Like
I
it
agree.
doesn't even come close to explain why he's trying to become like Wizard Hitler.
And
Like
he has no character development either, which is why
that's to me that's fine, but again, like
yeah.
No,
if you
I
don't
agree
have
with
that
I agree
motive,
with Prem.
like
I agree with Prem. Like in the
Let's
towards the end
go.
of the movies, like the last couple movies, wouldn't you want to see glimpses of maybe Voldemort having some like remorse or something like that? Like
Like
he's just the same
no.
through
That's
every
great.
single
That's great if
movie.
they have it. That's just like bonus points. But to me, that's not like a requirement for a good villain.
I'm
Because
saying
I think
either or.
some of the because
But
if someone's truly like a bad person, they're not going to have that redemption.
think
And
about like
there's people on this
Snape,
list.
for example, that he's a good villain, to
Yeah,
be honest
he's a
with you.
great villain.
I I wouldn't call him a villain though. Like
He's not a villain, but he would be a great villain in that sense. If he
He's an
was like the
antagonist, though. He's an antagonist
he's
for
just the best
sure.
character. He's just a great character because he has great development. I wouldn't call him a villain though.
He's definitely a villain, dude. He's definitely a villain. He
No,
supports.
he is only a
he's a
villain
double
because
agent.
he's only a villain because you're reading it through Harry. Because you're reading it's not like literally from Harry's perspective.
But no, but you think he's not a villain because of how it ends up turning out to be at the end. How you realize his actual character development in the
No,
first
not
4 to
how you
5 movies.
realize.
you're like, dude, like this guy is
No,
a bad. He's a Death
no.
Eater. All that stuff.
It's exactly what Ari said. It's all Harry's perspective, and Snape and Harry don't get along because Snape didn't like Harry's dad because he was in love with Lily, and we only find out that Snape had all these different intentions throughout the first 5 movies. Everything that he did it for a completely different reason than what
Yep.
Harry thought it to be.
Yep.
So that's what I'm trying to say is that like
Oh, I see.
he wasn't like trying to be the antagonist. It just like his own emotions fueled so many different
Yeah.
like things that would come out of him. Dude, Snape is the best character in that movie.
But then,
100%.
but then, why does he become the Death Master and then rule it as if he's a Death Eater?
In which movie?
In the 7th movie, he's a headmaster, and then he
right.
he's-
That's still all to like sell the facade to the Voldemort. Yeah, he's the double agent. That was the whole point of it. He was never actually a bad guy. Right?
Fair.
Remember, obviously, like in the duel with McGonagall, he literally like kills the 2 Death Eaters. He deflects her spells into them and then steals their wands and flies out.
Yeah.
He doesn't actually try to attack McGonagall. He just deflects her
Oh.
spells into the 2 Death Eaters.
I guess you're right.
You know, I wouldn't call Snape like the villain
Maybe
of
not.
Harry Potter.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
I guess
yeah.
yeah, fair.
Okay, moving on though. This is someone who does
Wait,
have
can I
the
pause you for
redemption
a second?
story.
Can I
Yeah,
pause
yeah.
you for a second? Can we keep Voldemort as a benchmark? I feel like he's the most average villain. I feel like there's worse than Voldemort, and I feel
Well, I
like there's
mean,
a lot
you
better
can't
than
Sure.
really call him a
Voldemort.
benchmark because Ari's questions is either is he a
I
good
think
villain
he's
or is he just a villain in a good movie? So he's a villain in a good movie.
well. I
That's what
mean,
I'm saying. Like, I
or is
want
he
to
just
keep him as the
he's not
average
like that good
villain.
of a villain? You know, like
Yeah,
I'm saying the
He's
reason I
defeatable.
said exactly the reason I say like or is he just a villain in a good movie is because these are all villains from like huge franchises, and so
Oh,
that's
okay.
why people like tend to say like they're amazing.
I
You
see. I
know,
see what you're saying.
because they're
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
iconic. You know.
Yeah, got you.
So right. So are these villains actually good villains? Right. We did Voldemort. Next one, Darth Vader. He's someone who had like the crazy redemption story.
I have no idea about Star Wars at all.
Okay, so should
Uh,
Rishi, you've watched a lot of Star Wars, right?
I've watched a lot of Star Wars. I would say that I'm a bigger Marvel guy than I was Star
Okay.
Wars, so I never
Do you
paid
want to give
attention
Prem some
into
like
the root
background
plot. But okay, so
on
essentially,
Vader so he knows?
do you know who the Skywalkers are?
Yeah, Anakin and
Yeah.
Luke. I know
So
that, dude. Come on.
Anakin. I'm just saying, bro. You just said I'm not into the movie, so I was like, let me give
Yeah.
you a little rundown. So Anakin Skywalker, good turned bad, right? Because he gets betrayed, and then due to that betrayal, he goes and joins the dark side, right? So now he's this big, crazy villain named Darth Vader, who actually has some remorse, and he does have soft spots because on the inside, he still has like tad bits of Anakin. But I don't really remember much about Darth Vader other than that,
So
TBH.
I have a quick thing about his motive. So motive, it says that he was once the Jedi Anakin Skywalker, turned to the dark side for fear of losing his loved ones and a desire
Yeah.
for ultimate power. In terms of his actions, he helped Palpatine hunt down and pretty much kill all the Jedi. He betrayed Obi-Wan, who was his old master, and kind of killed him. Then just killed a bunch of people and destroyed planets as a whole.
What the
Yeah.
fuck?
So is he a good villain based off that description?
No,
Would
I'd
you say
say
so?
no.
I agree. I don't think Darth
I
Vader's
don't think
actually
so
that
at
good of a
all.
villain.
Wait, I hear nothing about like motive.
That's what I've been saying. He is far and away the most iconic villain of all time.
Yeah,
Like nobody can take that away from him. But
yeah.
is
Or
he
Joker.
actually a good? I would say Darth Vader is even more. Like
Probably.
Darth Vader is like
I wouldn't argue
on the
that.
screen. On the screen, Darth Vader is
Yeah.
the villain. But again, I don't see the motive. Like I'm sure all the Star Wars like hardcore fans are gonna come at us, but like I don't see it. Like
Wait,
don't either.
I kind of disagree. I feel like he's fueled by a lot of different emotions that kind of, cause him to do the things that he does. Like
what?
like okay,
Who betrayed him? Who betrayed him?
wouldn't you say that what's her name?
Princess Leia.
Yeah,
Padme?
Princess Leia. Batman?
Padme.
Padme.
Bro, Princess
Oh,
Leia.
Padme. Yeah,
Princess
yeah,
Leia's a
yeah.
baby when they when this happens,
Sorry.
bro.
Yeah. Wouldn't you say that Padme betrayed him as well?
I wouldn't say so. No. The whole idea was that Anakin just got corrupted by Palpatine, wasn't he? He just like the dark side like took over him, right?
Wait, so
Like what
okay,
actually happened that
so
made him?
Maybe none
let
of
me get
us
this
know
straight.
that
Let me
much
get this straight.
about
Maybe
Star
wait,
Wars.
let
We
me
should
get
have
this
had
straight.
Nishk. Yeah.
Are you saying
Nishk
that
would be
he
like,
is
"Actually,
Palpatine's
guys."
puppet? Are you saying that
Yeah.
he's like Palpatine's
Bro,
puppet?
Vader was just Palpatine's bitch. Like he didn't do shit.
Damn.
Okay, I can see that. I can see that actually. I can see. But here, let's put it like this: do we put him above or under Voldemort? If we're putting in a ranking,
I
don't
put
have
him
to go
above Voldemort. I
You
put him above
above
Voldemort.
He's above
I
average
put
as
him
a
above.
villain.
I put him above Voldemort because of the redemption arc, and because even if he is doing it for someone else, no, actually, why is he doing it? Like, I
Yes.
just don't. I don't get why he's doing it. Why is he just destroying planets? Like, for what purpose?
I think he has a better thing than Voldemort because he got betrayed, so there's some level of motive. Well, Voldemort's like, bro, oh, I got bullied. Like, bro, come on.
Right, but if you're just being betrayed, then surely your revenge would just be on the people who betrayed you. Then it stops. You don't have to destroy like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
but
agree for sure.
damn,
So
we're just
apparently
hating on all the villains so far.
Wait, so wait, I fully forgot. He saved Luke. He turned on Palpatine
yeah.
towards the end of the movies because of his hatred for Palpatine himself.
Well,
So
what's
I
the
guess he really wasn't
scene-
the villain and all.
what's the scene where he takes his mask off and you realize it was Luke the whole time, or it was
Anakin?
Anakin the whole time?
Well, no. You find out he's Anakin in the fifth movie, or like the second but fifth movie. where he like announces that he's actually Luke's dad.
Yeah, I am your father, right, or some
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
that's like an iconic scene, right?
That was the biggest like plot twist in movie history when it came out.
Yeah.
Like to us now, it's like not even a question because like even without watching the movie, like that's just what it is. Like everyone just knows it somehow. But yeah, that because of the redemption, I'll put him above Voldemort. But overall, I'm not seeing enough motive
Yep.
to justify the actions for me to say he's
So
actually a
okay,
good villain.
okay. I feel like I was just trying to look back and see how much I can remember. I feel like he had a couple of motives. The first one being fear and desperation. You know, Padme, he was afraid of losing Padme during childbirth, and then when she died, he went into it like a state of like he was dispersed, like his emotions were dispersed everywhere, and then Palpatine was luring him in and manipulating him, and Anakin thought that maybe he can join the dark side and stop some of his people from dying, and it was all Palpatine's manipulation that kind of made him join. Like it was anger, it was grief, it was desperation that he joined the dark side. But eventually, he just went straight back to his roots because he realized that it was all just a scam. But he became the agent of death, but then he realized that it was all for nothing. He was just being lied to, just for Palpatine's purposes.
Okay, that okay. There, okay. I think that sets it then. I think that makes sense for him to be above Voldemort then.
Yeah,
But I still wouldn't call him
Yeah.
like a great villain,
this is honestly
standalone,
this.
you know.
I feel like this conversation is putting a lot of perspective into my head right now. I usually don't think about
Yeah.
these. I just like
What's
I think
next?
villain, I think bad, and I'm just like I never thought of Voldemort or like Vader as like average villains. But now that I'm
Yeah,
like
right.
now
When
that
you
we
really
think
get
about
into
it,
it,
it's
it's
like you
interesting.
get into
Yeah.
it, it's interesting. Yeah.
Next one, Rishi, you did mention Joker. The Joker.
I mentioned him, bro.
No, I mentioned it.
Bro.
What do we think about the Joker?
Dude, he is one of my favorite villains, bro. I'm not even gonna lie.
He's such
Like
an
he's
iconic
just
villain.
a psychopathic maniac, fueled by I don't even know, probably his childhood, probably him being neglected his whole life, and this is just like an act of like showmanship where he just wants to be seen. You know what I'm saying? I feel like
Wait,
there's
wait,
so
but
much depth to the
doesn't he have it?
Joker.
He has his own film, right? I'm sure they go into his backstory and kind of all that. What do they say in that?
Well, that I don't know how like canon that like Joker story is. I don't know like if that's actually like the real backstory of the Joker because there's so many iterations of the Joker now that it's like hard to tell.
Oh,
And also that's not the Joker. Like I think they establish in the second movie, which I didn't watch, but do
there's
you
a
care if
Joker
I
too.
do you care if I say what like I've heard happens
I
in
have
it?
no idea. I
Go
mean, no,
ahead.
don't care.
So Joker 2 was like a musical. It had like Harley
Oh
Quinn,
my
which was
god.
Lady Gaga playing
Like the Joaquin
Oh
Harley
yeah.
Phoenix
Quinn.
one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So in that, Joaquin Phoenix's Joker dies. So the whole idea was meant to be that the Joker is like a concept, not like just a specific person. Because after him, he became like a martyr. Like he represented this idea
Yeah.
of like
I
everybody in
understand
society
that.
being corrupt. So there was a
Yeah.
new Joker then after him who was inspired. He was like the original Joker who just set forth that like idea, and then people who were inspired by him then took on the mantle. Which is why, because watching like Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, you're not expecting this guy to go around fighting Batman. It wouldn't make sense. So to me, the Joker is a great villain, and I might be going back on
Probably
what I
one of
said
the
about.
best.
It might be going back a little bit on the motive thing, but I think because it is like from such a psychological angle, it works. Like you can justify him not having a clear motive because of like the mental approach that they take towards it, where he
Wait, his
literally
motive is there. It's clear.
well
It's to
he
get
well
rid
he
of
wants
corruption.
not to get
It's
rid of corruption necessarily, but like to
he wants to
show
take
that everybody
control
is
of like
really
yeah, everyone's
right. He wants
corrupted.
to
He
show
wants
like
control
everybody
over
is
that.
corrupt. Because like a
Yeah.
lot of the time he spends like trying to get Batman to prove that he is corrupt. Like the reason Batman can't beat the Joker a lot of times is because Batman won't kill him. Because that just means the Joker wins. Which I think is like the perfect
That's an insane
that's the
thing.
perfect
Yeah.
establishment. It's like how Prometheus and like the Arrow was, where like if Oliver just killed Prometheus, then he still wins. You
I
know.
never watched The Arrow.
I don't
Oh,
think I
Prem, you know what I'm
remember.
talking about.
I think I remember that. I think I remember that.
Bro. We literally talked about it like 2 weeks ago.
You
Okay,
don't
never
know
mind.
ball, bro. You don't know ball, bro. Come on. You don't know
But yeah,
ball.
I think to me Joker is one of the greatest villains of all time
Yeah.
because just straight off the fact that like you're the main hero who you're opposing, if he actually defeats you, you win. Like
That's such a paradox.
yeah,
Wait, I
Um,
put Joker as probably one of the best villains of all
I
Also,
time.
agree.
let's just give a shout out to the actors who've played the Joker. Like they've
Oh
been
yeah,
insane. Like didn't, but one of them like died because he was too involved with the
Heath
Joker, right?
Ledger.
yeah. Heath Ledger.
Heth
Heath Ledger.
Ledger.
It was
That's
That's dude.
insane.
I don't.
amazing
Have you guys seen the
performance.
behind the
It's
scenes
so
of that
sad. Yeah.
for Heath
No,
Ledger?
no.
Dude,
How was
this
he?
guy was like the level of psychologically insane where the Joker was is like here. Heath Ledger was like coming up on that, bro, because like
No way.
because he would just depict the role in real life. He would be the Joker in everyday life, just not in the killer frenzy maniac type of way, but his actions, the way he would speak to people, the way he just had this creepy like creepy tone to him at all time because he was the Joker, and that's how he would emanate the character so well in the movies, and that I guess that just drove him insane, like drove him absolutely insane. Which is why, and actually, dude, I really like the point you brought up about the martyr, and that kind of just what propelled me to just be like, he might be one of the greatest villains, if not the best
Yeah,
villain
he might be the
ever.
greatest. Even though
Because
the motive isn't as like clear cut as like we kind of said it has to be, like I think it's just perfect.
like think about it,
Holy
because
shit.
he's kind of like for the people, but at the same time the people don't like him, right? So he's the villain in
Yeah.
their perspective, but his ideals are kind of the same. He's just acting about it in the most insane way possible. But the way he depicts corruption and violence, and just the way that oh my god, dude, I need to watch this movie again. Like the Joker is like, I'd glaze him for everything. That he's up there for me right now. He's at my number one
Right now he's number one.
Wow.
Okay.
right now.
Damn. All right. Next, Rishi, you said you're more of a Marvel guy. We're taking a Marvel. This to me is the
I
villain
know it's
that
gonna be.
like
Oh
sparked
my god.
this whole like debate in my mind. What about Thanos?
Oh man,
What was
this
his
is a hard one.
backstory
Because
again?
to me, Thanos is like the most clear cut motive, where like he's the example I think of the most when somebody says a villain who you're trying the people try to like make you understand where he's coming from.
Wait, what? I forgot his. I forgot. What
His whole
happened?
thing is that he believes like the universe is like riddled with overpopulation and greed, and people are inherently bad. And so what he wants to do is he's trying to eliminate half the people in the universe, so
Half of
that way
life.
half of all life on the universe, so
Yeah,
that way overpopulation is not as much of an issue. People have enough resources to go around.
I see.
And so his backstory is like he grew up like as a mutant. He's like a mutated, which is why he looks the way he does, why he's as big
Mhm.
as he is. And he was like really ridiculed his whole life for that, made fun of. He was treated horribly. And he's seen his own uh, planet, Titan,
Titan.
get
Yeah,
destroyed by overpopulation and famine
Oh.
because there's too much, not enough food, too many mouths to feed, is the thing he says. So his whole thing is fueled by what happened to him and him trying to prevent it from happening to other places. And he thinks he'll do this by just killing half the people everywhere.
That's a good motive. That's
It's a
pretty
great
good
motive until one person just points out that like, why not just double the resources?
You can't.
Well, no, if he has the gauntlet, right? He
Oh.
uses the gauntlet to like kill half the people. Why not just
What, you
double the
snap
resources?
twice? Like, how does that work?
Well, no,
Just
the snap just does whatever he
double.
wants. Like, like if
Okay,
he used it to like destroy Half Life, like Tony used it to, or what's it called?
to
Hulk
bring
used it.
people back. Yeah,
Hulk
yeah.
used it to first bring everybody back. So that means you can create stuff from it too.
Okay, let me ask
So
you
why would
this.
you not have
Ah.
just doubled? I personally like to say, and this is just me trying to cope so I can keep Thanos as a good villain in my mind. I think it wouldn't work because the idea of like inequality and like greed would still make it so that the extra resources would go to the people at the top rather than actually helping everybody, which is what Thanos
But
wanted
that
to do.
wouldn't be a stop. Like that's not his thought process. Like that's
You don't
not.
know that. You don't know that. You don't know that.
I don't know.
Okay, do we really think Thanos is a villain in general? Let's
Yeah.
just say, wait, let me put it into this
Bro,
perspective.
what?
Wait, chill. Let me
The guy
explain.
trying to kill half the people in the universe? Yes, he's a
Let me
villain.
explain. Let me explain.
God damn.
Let's say we were living in the same universe as Thanos, and Thanos snapped his fingers and erased all life 100,000 years ago from where we are right now, right? The people who would stand to benefit from it the most, if it were to work out as it intended, would be people like us, people hundreds and thousands of years later, right? So at that time, what he was doing may have been something, as like villainous to those people then, but for the sake of humanity for the rest of lifetime, I feel like if anything, he's looking to save humanity. I'm not saying that,
So
killing is
that's the
justified.
motive. That's the
I'm
motive,
just saying,
right?
is he may be the villain of that time, but he may be the savior for the rest of time.
Exactly. So does that make him then a good villain because they justified his actions? Like
That's what I'm saying.
you're trying to like align with him. You're trying to sympathize with him.
It's a
You're
perspective
trying to
issue.
see his
The,
point.
the,
You're
the
trying to see his
people who are
point.
there with him have the perspective that he's just going to kill their family and friends. Those are the people who are going to have to carry the burden the most. For us, it wouldn't affect anything. The people 50, 100, 250 years later, we don't have to carry anything because we lived the life with the people that we love and we don't have to worry about those things. Now, there is an alternate scenario that when he snaps his fingers and erases half the life in the universe, that he also does a power grab and tries to control the universe. And in that sense, that's where I put him as a villain. But if all he wants to do is snap his fingers and then rest and then forget about the rest
That's
of
what he did.
humanity,
He went off to be a farmer. Remember?
then I don't really see him as the villain.
Yeah.
Well,
I put him up there. I put him up there as one
I
of the
put him up
great
there just
villains
simply
of all
based on
time.
our requirements of like what the motive is, right? As like, I think it's a pretty good motive.
So then, okay, but then like thing is like then let's talk about Galactus, because Galactus
See
is
that
the actual destroyer
Galactus
of worlds.
Galactus is just pure evil. Like to me, Galactus is
Exactly.
not a good villain because his whole idea is that he's just evil for evil's sake. Like he's just there to consume planets. I don't know enough about like the full
I don't
lore
know
behind
either.
him, but from what
I'm
I've
actually kinda
seen, he just
interested.
literally goes around eating planets. Like he literally like eats whole universes, and it's because like he needs to eat them to like grow his power. Like to me, that is not a good villain as a watcher, as like a viewer, because I can't sympathize with him. I can't, or I mean, I get pretty hungry sometimes, but like I can't like understand
Tommy.
wanting to do that, like or not. No, I don't want to do what Joker or Thanos did, but like
What the hell?
you don't see the villain's point. You don't understand where they're coming from. If you can't do that, then I feel like they're just not a good villain. Like
Yeah.
I don't like when villains are just evil for the sake of being evil.
That's fair.
But I feel like, dude, I feel like Galactus is kind of like I feel like he's like above the concept of good and bad. Like I feel like he's just beyond that. Like he just doesn't have like an understanding of anything. He has too many desires to figure anything out. Because okay, let me ask you this. This is like a tangent, but like I don't know if you guys know Dormammu.
Yeah.
Who's winning?
Who's
Dormammu
I've
Galactus?
or
come to
Thanos?
Who's
bargain.
Dormammu, bro?
Bro, you don't know Dormammu? Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
I feel like who's winning that fight? Who's winning that? Galactus or Dormammu?
I think canonically, does Galactus not beat Dormammu?
I feel like he
If
won't,
Dormammu
'cause
can,
he's just a
if
force.
Dormammu can lose to Doctor Strange, I think Galactus can handle.
Yeah,
Dormammu.
Galactus is probably destroying him.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. Anyways, just a tangent point. That was
Yeah.
interesting. What you thought on that?
Let's stay on Marvel for one more, and then one more after that.
Sure.
This one is an interesting one because again, we see the redemption arc. What about Loki?
Loki's not a bad guy, bro.
Loki?
I like his character development.
Loki, he's not that good, man. He's not that good of a
I
villain.
don't think he's a villain, bro.
Well, no, but you said having the redemption arc just adds bonus points. Like he was
I
at
do
one point the
too.
villain, so
Yeah,
having
he
the
was
redemption
at
arc
one point.
doesn't take away from
Which is
his
why
villain.
I think he's a good villain. I think he's a good villain.
Bro, but I don't know. Like
don't
what when he was at one point a villain. He was at one point a villain. So he does go through redemption arc, which to me elevates him at his level as being a good villain. But when he was a villain, was it actually like that good of a villain?
Wasn't there two
filled with
movies
so
with
much-
Thor? With
He did two movies
Loki?
with Thor and the Avengers movie, the first Avengers movie. He was the villain, but I don't think he was that good of a villain when he was a villain.
Like, let's be honest. Compared to other villains, how much like he had desire, sure, but like how much like pure evilness did he have in his heart?
Loki was just like the
Like nothing.
average like Indian kid getting like compared to the brother. Like that's literally what he's complaining about. He just didn't
He just
like
had desire
that.
to be seen.
He
Yeah,
didn't
that's
like
it.
that like Thor
Oh
was like
my
getting all the
God.
attention. That Thor was the one always meant to rule Asgard. Thor was the favorite by the father. Like that's all Loki was. Like that's the
That's
whole
just-
reason he
he
does
was just
everything.
acting
He
out.
wants to.
By
be
the way,
seen.
fun fact: I saw the character at the U.S. Open.
What?
Who?
Yeah,
You saw
Loki's
the character
actor?
or the
like the actor. actor.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Yeah,
Oh, that's sick.
yeah.
Tom Hiddleston.
Oh, thank God for saying that. I was like trying to think of his name and I like totally forgot.
Oh,
But he's a
come
great
on.
actor, by the way. Like an
He's
absolute
amazing,
great actor.
amazing.
Amazing
Holy shit.
actor.
Yeah.
He had a role in a recent movie. What was the name of the movie? I don't know why I brought it up because I don't remember the name of the movie. All right, now I'm gonna have to see. Anyways, continue for a second
yeah.
while I check on this.
While we get to the
So what do you think? I personally don't think Loki, the redemption arc helps him a lot in elevating his story as a villain, but when he was a villain, I don't think there was enough justification for me to say he's a top tier villain.
my thing is
I still put him above. He's above Voldemort.
yes,
He's above Darth Vader.
yes.
He's not above Thanos. He's not above.
Wait,
That's fine.
What?
That's fine. I agree with
Wait,
that. I agree with
Loki
that.
is above Voldemort and Darth
No,
Vader.
based
Yes,
on our requirements.
yes,
Based on our requirements,
yes.
yeah. Based on our requirements, he is for sure.
Objectively,
100%.
no.
100%.
No, don't go based off public perception. Go based off of like the good villain. What makes a good villain, right? And I agree with Ari.
All right, wait, recap it for me. I'm not.
He
It's not getting to my head.
Loki has at least some sort of background. Like I was like just joking, like diminishing like the thing.
This
but,
is
like,
a Mickey Mouse. This is a Mickey Mouse reason to become a villain, bro. Are you serious? Because your brother's better than you? Like what? Like that can't be the reason, dude. Anakin lost Padme. Okay, Voldemort was a troubled child. Okay, maybe Loki's reasoning is better than Voldemort. Voldemort's just like he just wants to be pure evil. You know what I'm saying? But like, is that's the goofiest reason to become a villain because your brother's
you're
better
right.
than you.
You're right. You're
If I
right.
see someone
You're right.
better than me on a test, I'm not bombing New Jersey. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not blowing up the world. You know what I'm saying? Like
No,
like,
I
come
see your point. No, you know what? I agree. Like he literally like sought out, but then no,
Well,
because I think some of the greatest villains are those who are just like attention deprived. Like some of the greatest on-screen villains are the ones who are like sociopaths because they crave attention. Like look at Homelander. Homelander, in my opinion, is one of the greatest on-screen villains ever. And his whole thing is just because of his like psychological need. The way he was created was so that he cannot live without the like attention on him. He craves it so much. That's all he lives for. And so because of that, that's his biggest weakness. But he's just pure evil because of it.
I feel like Homelander craves that attention more than Loki. You know,
Oh, 100%. 100%.
I feel like at a certain point Loki moves past that. He's just like, I don't care about what my parents think anymore. Like on the inside, he may care a little bit, but on the outside, he never shows that as much. It was only in like the earlier movies where the main motive was to kind of take over Asgard and just like be like a haha dad, like look, like I can be more powerful than Thor, and I have the control over you. But I just feel like he loses that. He loses it too quickly. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a short stint.
We're completely forgetting about like the Revelation, the second movie, that like they lied about his origin of birth, that he was actually never the real son of his father, that he just stole him and took him.
I forgot
like,
about that.
he was a frost
I forgot about
giant
that.
and he was just stolen as like a prize. And he, in his mind, thought that his dad just did it because he could eventually unite the frost giants and the Asgardians. So
Right.
Loki grew up also after realizing that, thinking that my dad only took me in to be a peace offering. That was his only purpose in life.
Like as a chess piece, yeah.
Exactly. He thought that his only purpose
That's
was for
deep,
political
dude.
gain.
That's hella
That
deep.
no, dude, you gotta put Loki above Vader, bro. Loki's above
that's
Vader.
deep, dude. That's very deep.
Loki, maybe put him even above Thanos, man. Like,
No.
but
I don't know.
I think he's above
hard
Vader for me. He's above Vader for me.
I'm having
when
a
you
hard
add
time
all
putting
that
him above
stuff,
Darth
for
Vader.
sure.
I'm really having a hard time.
Bro,
I
Vader's
feel
shit, man. Vader doesn't do anything.
Okay, maybe it's just
Vader
like,
is shit. I've never heard that.
Vader
maybe-
didn't do shit.
Maybe it's because of the reason of him just like consistently just aura farming that like I just put him on a pedestal.
Ain't no
Could just
way,
be
bro.
that,
You said
TBH.
aura.
But
Oh my god.
you know what? Fine. You know what? Fine. I can agree. I can agree on this one that I put him above Vader. I feel like
Okay.
I feel like the idea of him being a frost giant that definitely does put him up a level. Fine. Sure.
Okay,
Let's move
I think
on.
that's okay. Last one. This is another one that kind of sparked it for me. What do you think about Scar?
Oh,
Ooh.
top villain for sure.
What
top
do you
villain.
say about my brother?
He is
Oh,
definitely
God.
dude. He's just like he's so interesting. Because
so
he-
many dynamics to Scar. Bro.
Yeah, there's just so many dynamics behind him. There's so much depth to Scar as well. Like I feel like he cares. He definitely cares deep down about.
Always
that
about to do some
family.
controversial shit.
I'm gonna say it, man. Even after the Mufasa movie got everybody riding Scar, man. Like Scar is overhyped as fuck right now.
Nah, bro.
If you see
bro.
Mufasa, he still, after even watching Mufasa, has zero reason to be that jealous. Mufasa did nothing wrong. Mufasa wasn't trying to steal
Dude, the
knowledge
whole
from
point
him.
of jealousy.
It's not.
No,
it's
the
not
whole
his
point of
fault that Nala
jealousy
didn't want
is
Scar. Like,
the whole point of jealousy is most of the time it's unwarranted and it's unjustified. because a lot of times it's jealousy for things you can't have, right? Without that person's control. For example, Mufasa, sure, he didn't do anything wrong, but at the end of the day, he's jealous because Mufasa got something that he didn't get, that he deserved rightfully, which was the heir to the throne.
Why does he
And
deserve it? Why does he deserve it? Just because he's the kid
yeah,
of
that's
that
literally
king?
why.
And also,
That's
and
like
also,
exactly
and
the
also,
reason.
but that's a different place. That's not the Pride Lands. That's not where Mufasa's the king of. They go to a completely different place when he becomes king, don't they?
No, but just think about it in this perspective, bro. The son of the BlackRock CEO doesn't get the job over you. You know, how do you think he's feeling? Think about that from his perspective, bro. He knows he's the nepo baby. He knows he's
Yeah.
the nepo baby. He knows he's gonna get nepoed so hard.
And also people in those type of positions are like expect
Yeah,
that
it's
legacy
Yeah,
to
but
come
expectation.
Scar's
down.
just a spoiled brat. Like he's expecting
No,
that he's gonna be
bro.
king.
And no,
even-
and
he
no,
didn't
no,
do
no,
shit.
and it's
No,
not even
no,
like it
'cause
was someone
Mufasa-
in house. It's
Mufasa
not even
did
like
all
someone
the-
was in house.
Mufasa did all the hunting. He did everything.
Scar
He
came.
got
Scar
the-
came. No, Scar came and lent Mufasa a hand, and then that motherfucker turned out. Not that it's his fault, but it
He
turned
didn't
out.
turn on him. He didn't turn on him.
No, listen to what I'm saying. It turned out that he was the guy who ended up getting it over him. Of course, he's gonna feel jealous that the guy I brought in is now eclipsed me in the rankings. The only way to get what's rightfully mine is to defeat him and become the villain. So yeah, that's a great story arc.
I don't think so at all. I think they tried so hard to make this is in my opinion the perfect example of how people are trying hard to make villains relatable or make you sympathize with the villain.
Wait,
Scar, Scar,
sorry, continue.
Bro.
yes, Scar like lent out the hand. Like yes, you feel bad that he was actually the one who could have been a king, not the king because it's different areas, right? But Scar was meant to be a king. He was the son of the old king of whatever land they were in. But guess what? Mufasa, he did the nice thing. He brought Mufasa in. But guess what? Mufasa is still the one who earned the right to be king. Mufasa was named king by all the animals in the circle of life. Scar was supposed to just expect it. He just thought, I'm just meant to be king. I should just be it, right? Oh, Nala should just be with me because I want her. Like, he's just a spoiled brat kid, you know? And also,
If he was so spoiled, why would he? If he was so spoiled, then why would he take Mufasa in?
So no, being spoiled doesn't mean you're not like. I'm saying he became spoiled over time. Like at the start, he's just an innocent kid, you know. But over time, he became jealous. He grew like spiteful of Mufasa, and it mainly was.
You're
because
telling me you wouldn't be
Nala.
jealous if that happened to you?
Being jealous is fine, but like that's not the level of jealousy is not worth killing the person over. Like
Okay, you know what?
That's
You know what?
his
Yeah.
livelihood. That's his
No, no,
legacy.
no, no, no,
That's
no,
his
no.
fucking inheritance, dude.
Which is why
It's
it
not,
just makes
though.
it makes
It's
it sadder.
not.
No, wait. But it just
That's
makes
like
it more
if you
sad
kill
if
the
that's what it
king.
is.
That's like if you kill the king of Scotland because you couldn't become the king of England. Like that. They're not even
you
like
mean
the
of-
kings of the same
of ki-
place. Like
What do you mean?
Scar had zero claim to be the king of the circle of life of the Pride Lands that they go to
So then why did Mufasa get it?
because the other
'Cause he
animals
earned
chose
it.
him because he's the one who saved it.
Yeah,
And
he
Mufasa
earned
didn't
it,
want
he
it.
earned it.
He said no, there should be no king, but they all chose him.
Oh, I didn't know.
Okay, you know what? I can agree with you here, Ari. I'm gonna be honest. Like you've convinced me to put him underneath Voldemort.
That's what I'm saying. It's overhyped. Don't get me wrong. The spoiled like son of a king is a great storyline for some villains. Some villains do it great. In Game of Thrones, Joffrey is one of the most notorious villains of all time. He's one of the most hated characters of all time because he's just pure spoiled brat villain, and he does it great. But Scar, they tried to do King Joffrey's story to him, in my opinion. They tried to make it the spoiled son of a king trying to fight for what he wants or what he thinks he deserves, and they failed. They didn't do nearly enough to justify what he does. I don't think it's enough to make me sympathize with Scar.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I'm putting him under Voldemort on this one.
I don't know. Yeah, there's
Voldemort-
a lot to this. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much to this, right, Prem? Prem could not care less. He's like, yo, he's like, I'm telling you, I know you agree, Prem. Like, there's no way you
What?
can disagree with that argument.
What?
Yo, are you here, bro?
What argument are you talking about?
The entire last 5 minutes Ari spent trying to convince you why Mufasa is a terrible villain.
No. I'm just not. Like I didn't know about the Pride Land switching thing. I didn't know about that whole dynamic, like Mufasa being chosen. I thought it was just like inherited.
No,
No, it wasn't an
That's
edited.
why.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why. Like that's
Alright.
where the confusion lied.
Moving on from the
But-
whole villains thing
yeah,
to a
yeah.
person who these days is kind of being seen as a villain, Drake. Did you guys see that Drake committed or might have committed a murder, allegedly, before he sues?
Where?
What?
There's a beloved mascot that died recently.
Bro, what?
You lost
Did
me.
you not see that the Duolingo bird died?
Bro, what the fuck?
You didn't see this?
No.
All right,
This
this
is
is
like a
not
huge
breaking
thing.
news, bro.
This was a huge
Yeah.
thing. It's like 2 weeks old now, but this was a huge thing. There's no way you didn't see this.
Crickets.
Yeah, wait,
Oh,
crickets, bro. Crickets.
You-
Oh
there's
my
no way you haven't seen
God.
this.
I have
Oh,
no
bro,
idea
you
what
guys
you're
gotta get on
talking
Twitter, man. You guys gotta get on Twitter. This was like trending for like 2 days.
I'm on
straight.
Twitter, bro. I don't know what Twitter you're on.
Go to
Bro's on
trending,
brain
bro.
rot.
Trending.
Bro's on brain rot Twitter.
Trending. It's on the trending tab. Pretty much, Duolingo announced that the Duolingo bird died, and suspiciously, a few tweets before they announced it, it's Duolingo hyping up Kendrick after the Super Bowl performance.
Bro,
Oh, so it's like
come
a
on.
joke, bro. Yo, come on, bro. Yeah,
Bro,
wait,
get
what?
out of here, bro.
Come on, yo, really?
Bro, no way you had that much motivation, that much suspense for all of that, bro. That
Yo,
is
I mean, it was like
crazy.
1 minute. I wouldn't say it was that suspense. Like,
Nah, what I think is worse than that, bro, is or funnier than that is the drone footage of Drake in Australia and him trying to shoot away with an orange slide, and then that orange slide being found 5 days later, washed up on the shore. That shit was hilarious, bro.
I think it's
How
on
much do you think
eBay
that's
for
going
like
for right now?
5K right now. It's
Really?
on eBay for like 5.
Crazy.
I feel like that's low.
Yeah, I feel like that's
we're
pretty
going for
low.
way more.
I was expecting like 20K for that slipper, bro.
If you find it, I think it was found by like Australian government workers, like Australia Water or something. But
Okay.
I think if you find that, are you like putting it up for auction or are you like setting up at like some crazy high price?
Auction, oh my God, that would drive up prices like crazy. You don't have to sell
I
on
feel like
auction.
auction would generate so much more hype around it than just
Yeah,
putting
dude,
it up.
the hype is there if there's an auction. You know what I'm saying? Like people will just continuously outbidding. You're gonna get that one stupid guy who's gonna
Yeah.
bid like 30 grand on an orange slipper.
It's risky
You
though,
know?
because what if people don't realize the story until it's too late? So somebody only gets it for like $150 then.
No, but then you
You're
just
not
don't
stupid.
sell it. You just don't
Yeah.
sell it then at
Can
that
you do
point.
that?
No, you
Yeah,
can.
you could
There's a
auction.
minimum. There's a minimum auction bid you have to have.
Also that as
So
well.
whatever
Oh,
your
okay, right,
floor
right, right.
is, you just do that, and then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
Drake just
One-
keeps taking L's, man. First Kendrick, obviously. Then the Duolingo bird beef.
Is
then
he married?
Drake?
Yeah.
Hell
No,
no,
right?
bro.
Yeah, he's not married.
Then he like threw. I see what you're doing. Yeah.
What
Then
did you
he's caught in.
You should
the
get
most,
him an
like,
arranged
funniest-
marriage.
Funniest angle, trying to catch that.
good.
try to catch the drone with the slipper. Threw it like such a funny way. Also,
Bro,
Yeah.
he threw like a bitch, bro. Come on. That was so lame, bro.
but
That
it's
was actually
funny. It's
so
funny.
lame.
It's funny.
That was
And then
the
also
most
the
like
same
negative
week-
aura moment ever. Like the biggest negative aura moment.
What's with you and Aura, bro?
Bro, you saying
Trying to
that
be
in
Jalen
negative
Hurts?
order, bro.
Bro,
And
Jalen
then-
Hurts. Sorry, continue.
No, go ahead, go,
This-
go, go.
No,
No, no,
this
go,
is
go.
like the stupidest tangent. Oh my
Go
God.
for go.
I saw a compilation of Jalen Hurts aura moments, bro.
Aura
I don't
fuck.
think, dude. I feel like he talks in haikus. You know what I'm talking about? Like he doesn't like. He just talks in like motivation,
Rain,
Like,
sleet, or
I've
snow. Eagles gotta go, or some shit like that.
dude.
It's so bad.
I've never seen him have a normal conversation where he's not trying to say something motivational. Like he's Prem, but like 10x of what Prem would
Oh,
be
God,
if
bro.
he was Jalen Hurts. You know, if he was the NFL
I got better
quarterback winning
hair,
the
though.
Super Bowl. You got better hair
No,
than Jalen Hurts?
no, you do not.
I
No,
don't
you
think
do
so. I'm
not.
sorry,
Are
bro.
you kidding me?
I don't think so.
Not-
Dude, Jalen Hurts is
You-
good looking, bro.
Jalen Hurts
He's
is
a
really
good-looking
good
dude.
looking.
He's a
Very
really
good
good looking.
looking.
None of
Saquon's
us match up
great,
to Jalen
really
Hurts.
look
bro.
good looking.
Yeah,
dude.
none of us match up to those guys, but we're also like, it's also Saquon and Jalen Hurts, bro. Like, come on.
Do you see like there's a trend like after they won the Super Bowl where like every woman on like TikTok was like, is there like a single player on the Eagles who's like not hot as fuck? Like they were just going through the entire like Eagles roster and they're like, dude,
No, I
why
didn't
is
see that.
everybody in this locker room fine as hell? Like,
Dude, what about not a Landon Dickerson, bro? The lineman, bro.
These
The girls find him attractive? Or the guy with the beard? The guy with the big beard. What's his
Lane
name?
Johnson.
Lane Johnson. What?
I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
know.
wait.
I don't know.
Dude, I think they just
Mm.
went to skill players, bro.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, come
I-
on, right?
I did want to talk about something though while we're on the topic of sports. This has kind of been something that I've been thinking about over the last couple of weeks. Was kind of wondering your guys' take on whether you think the state of sports, typically I'm talking about NBA and football, right? State of those two sports, were they better in the 2010s decade or are they better now in the 2020s decade? What do you guys think?
It's tough again because of the nostalgia. Like, I think we're very
Yeah,
fortunate
no.
where we grew up in the best possible era of sports, where not even just basketball and football, every single sport you can think of, we've gotten to live through arguably all of the GOATs. We've seen Messi versus Ronaldo, who are the GOATs of that sport. I say Messi, but then we've lived through Tom Brady, we've lived through Patrick Mahomes. I'm not gonna put Patrick Mahomes in that conversation.
Don't even yo.
Okay,
I'm
chill,
sorry.
chill, chill.
Don't even
I'm not-
put him in the
I'm
same
actually-
conversation as
Sorry,
Tom
bro.
Brady,
Come
bro.
on.
We lived through Tom Brady. We lived through Tom Brady.
Oh my god.
Right? In basketball, we've lived through LeBron. We've lived through Steph Curry. We've lived through for swimming. We've seen Michael Phelps, the greatest Olympian of all time. We've lived through Tiger Woods. We've lived through Roger Federer, Djokovic, Nadal,
We've lived through the GOATs of every sport. Bro,
Joey Chestnut. We've lived through all of the
Oh.
GOATs, like Usain Bolt.
Stop,
Usain Bolt.
bro.
Like,
Usain Bolt. Wait. I
We've lived
want to
through
make a
every
point.
single GOAT.
I want to make a point. I only think that the 2010s is better is because that was kind of like we also saw the evolution of technology in the behinds of everything as well. So the game advanced, the players advanced, and the media advanced as well. So sports just became more of like a mainstream thing where all the eyes would be on sports more and more as the years go on. And like Ari said, bro, like you can make a motivational clip out of me, but we have seen the absolute greatest era of sports ever. There's never been a better time in sports that people have seen. Maybe I would say the 90s. The 90s were also a great time for sports as
I don't
well.
think it even comes
But
close.
I don't think it even comes close to 2010, bro. I don't even comes close to 20.
Oh, right,
Like
because you watched it,
2004
right? You
to
watched the
2000
90s.
like 70.
Yeah.
17. Oh, wait, Prem, I want to know your thoughts first before I finish.
Oh no, my thing was definitely 2010s, right? I kind of all
Yeah,
the stuff
okay.
you
So we're all
listed,
in
but it's
agreement.
also like I think this new era of sports is something that the athletes don't understand how, like, they don't understand the position they're in and how they got to that position. And I think that's huge, especially in the NBA. And I know this has been a big conversation the last week and a half, but like privilege, right? Like these people are growing contracts at like a rate never seen before, right? Like it took a while for people to get to $30 million. I think MJ did it in the 90s, but it took until like 2016, 2017 to make $30 million annually. Now people are close to making $75 million a year
Well,
in the
inflation
NBA.
also, but yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That much inflation, bro. So all this, and like people don't understand that you just gotta put in effort. This is not a bank; it's a partnership. And like I think it's gonna be detrimental into the future when the new collective bargaining comes in, when the profit sharing comes in next, and like these owners are gonna be like, no, we're not doing this. Like I think since COVID, like load management started, right? Like people in the 2010s decade didn't even know what load management was. They would play all the games, right? They would play even football with this new roughing the passer shit, all this like calls that are being made. Like it's really bullshit. And like, sure, you want to protect the quality of product, like the offense and the quarterback and things like that. But at the end of the day, like you can't take away the fundamental game, right?
Yeah, back in my day, you know.
I'm just saying, like, I think that's another thing. And then I think third, is kind of I'm not saying this is bad or good thing, but it's kind of this evolution of the podcast, right? Which I think is leading to a lot more of like focus on trash talking and like analysis rather than actually playing the game, right?
I
Like,
think that's good for the sport, though.
I think it's good, but at the same, yeah, again, I didn't say it was good or bad, but I think it's to some extent it's kind of annoying, right? Because like it's one thing for fans to be like, oh, we're gonna win the Super Bowl next year after like they just lost and like didn't even make the playoffs. But when a player's doing that, like for example, like I'm not trying to sound biased, but like the Cowboys, like Michael Parsons won, but like even Dak Prescott, like after the Eagles won the Super Bowl, he was like, yeah, like we're right up there just with them. Like check our record. Check. I'm like, dude, like it's one thing for the fans to do that, but as a player, like you have to have some level of respect.
It's not like players didn't say that before, bro. It's not like it's just
part
new.
of it. You have to
players say that all the
yourself.
time.
Like,
yeah.
what are you gonna do? That's part of it.
No,
wait, we as fans, we see it more objectively than them. Because they're the ones on the field. They're the ones playing the game. They know their actual team's potential. We look at the stats. We see at the forefront of things. We're not looking at how to develop a team, how to progress a team. Of course, they're going to think that
saying
with the
stuff
players
that's just
that they
objectively false. And like at that point,
they can say what they want. They can say what they want.
They can go on a run next year, and we would have no idea. only they know better than us.
Even if they don't, who gives a shit? They can say
You
what
have
they
to
want.
believe in yourself. You
They're
gotta
their own
believe in
person.
yourself.
They
Yeah.
should. I would, if anything, that would be worse for the sport. I would think way less of the 2020s decade in terms of as a sporting era. If everybody just came out and said like, yeah, we might do okay next year. That's not how you're supposed to be. Then that is again what you're saying of like the privilege, like people don't have the
I
same
guess.
drive to do
Fair.
it.
But
If they're not
also another
saying,
thing,
if they don't believe they can win, if they don't believe they can be the best, then that's completely goes against what you're
no,
saying.
that's
Of
fair actually.
them
But
needing
I
that
think another
hunger,
thing is
that drive that was there in the 2010s.
the competitive aspect of it.
Yeah,
There's
it's
too many
not the
texts.
same.
There's
No,
too many
it's not.
texts.
It's
There's
not the
too many.
same.
There's no more not fights, but there's no more like like I think for the first time this year I saw like the KD CP3 like altercation like last week was the first like somewhat verbal altercation I've seen this entire year, and I'm like, bro, what is going on? Like this shit used to be like back and forth, and like people are super buddy now. Like I love Giannis for one reason, and that's because he doesn't have a lot of friends on in the league. Like he's very like I'm here to like I'm competing against you. I'm not here to be friends with you, right? Like all these people are like buddy, and like I get it. LeBron's 40, like he doesn't care as much to like do all this extra stuff, but like even people like Ant now and like other people, they're like trying to like cat like all these people just trying to be buddy with everyone. It's like, dude, like you're here to win a championship, and like if you show that you don't care as much about that, the fans aren't going to respect you. They're not going to embrace your product as much, and you're just going to suffer eventually.
Pick
I
a
kind
side,
of
man.
disagree.
Do you want more trash talk, or do you want everyone to be buddy, man?
Wait,
Like,
no, wait.
100%. I want more.
Wait,
trash
I
talk.
kind of disagree.
then you
dude.
just
I
said that you don't like that people did that. You don't like that with
When
all the
did I-
podcasts. You were just saying earlier that you don't like how in the podcast era, you might have slipped up or something, but you said like podcast era, everybody's just talking all their like running their mouth, talking too much trash about it, and you're saying that dilutes the sport.
No, what I meant to say, what I'm saying is that, like for example, like that's not trash. That's just being like a hater. That's like objectively being false. Like that's my point. Like being saying something on the field is one thing because that's in the field of play, but then taking it out and then saying stuff like, "Oh, we're just as good as them," when like they were sent home, not even in the playoffs, and the Eagles are there winning the championship. Like that's like stupid. That ruins your credibility. Sure, you can
Okay, fine.
say whatever you want, but
I have a
like, bro,
counterpoint to
come
that.
on.
I have
You
a
know what I mean?
counterpoint to that. Like,
Yeah.
like what about the Bengals, right? Statistically, on paper, probably one of the more talented teams in the NFL. Got sent home 3 years in a row. Didn't get, or maybe they went to the playoffs once, the last 3 years. But dude, 9-8, 9-8, 9-8, and they've had Burrow go on an insane season. They've had T Higgins have a great season. They have Jamar Chase have a triple crown and not even being looked at. I think the problem, the thing is, you just have to realize the game is the game. I think a couple points. I think we are the most biased in this situation because we were lucky enough to see probably the greatest era of quarterbacks that we've seen. You guys got to watch Eli Manning growing up. I got to watch Tom Brady growing up, right? Like we're too biased. That like I'm saying, like imagine a Chiefs fan for like who was from our year. Like one of our friends is a Chiefs fan. I'm sure he's gonna say that he's enjoying this time so much more than them because all he saw was defeat. All he saw was just losing. Another thing is,
Did we, or me and Ari did with the Giants.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
Giants pretty much lost.
But we also saw like the victory. I think
you saw Super Bowls.
If you're being objective, like you can't deny that the era that we were in the 2010s was so much
dominance. Yeah, dominance. Yeah, you guys had dominance.
Football, I think, is much closer in terms of how it is because right now, honestly, this is some of the best like level of football we're seeing. Where every year we have no idea who's going to be the playoffs. Every year, new teams coming in. So I don't know. Maybe by the end of this decade, I'll change my mind for football. But as a whole, no.
As a whole,
basketball, no. Yeah. All other sports, Olympics wise, tennis, everything.
Yeah,
I don't think it comes close. But just off the fact that the 2010s, we saw every GOAT during the 2010s.
Yeah. And also,
unless you want to argue Jordan, but otherwise.
Yeah. Sorry. And one
Jordan
more point. Like from another era. He's talking about from a different era.
That's not what it, never mind.
No. Anyways. Well, another point towards your, like you talking about like the players being so rooted towards money. I feel like the game is the game, right? Like back in like the 2000s and the 1900s, like 1990s, you were like a player was tied to a company in terms of their brand, like a sponsor. That was their brand. Like Dion would be so like sponsored by this company. This person would be sponsored by this company, and that was their whole brand. But now I feel like it's all about building your own brand in sports. Like that's why they have these podcasts. That's why they're making their own shoes. That's why they're doing this. And you just have to play the game. That's how the game is played. Like do you think like if NIL, NIL being there, you have to play the game, otherwise you won't get anywhere. It's unfortunate that's how it is, but that kind of it does kill the competitiveness in the league because people don't care about winning as much; they care about getting the bag. Like for example, how the hell are the Bengals supposed to pay Jamar Chase, T. Higgins,
Trey
Joe
Hendrickson.
Burrow, Trey Hendrickson, and even the running back? Like how are they supposed to pay all these guys? And like I don't like Jamar taking a pay cut is hard. Dude, he just
No, he's
came off a
definitely not.
triple crown
He's
season,
definitely
bro.
not.
He is the number one person they have to pay. T. Higgins, they have to let go. They need to build up that defense and that offensive line. They can't rely on Joe Burrow.
And Bengals are one of the cheapest organizations in the entire NFL.
Yeah, very cheap. Oh, okay. I have a question to ask you guys. Joe Burrow, without the all-star receivers he's had his entire career, college and the NFL, is he as good as that, or is he just a product of the team around him?
He's special. He's definitely better. He
Dude,
well, he can
LSU, he had
elevate.
Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson.
I understand.
Bro.
I understand, but I'm just saying he can elevate.
If you're saying that, then also could you not say the same thing about the receivers? Like, how are they without this all-star quarterback throwing to them? You know,
Okay, yeah, you know what? Fair point. But I just think like I want to see what Joe Burrow can do without Jamar Chase. You know
I
what I'm
agree.
saying?
It would be interesting. I mean, Jamar Chase was like not this past season. The season before, was Jamar Chase not hurt for a decent amount of the season?
I think he was.
But then he had T. Higgins. You know, like there's
Okay,
no
but
loss of
come on.
receiver.
I'm not calling.
No,
T.
because
Higgins, like, the
Ari,
great
it's all because like
receiver,
Drake
but-
May has no one, and so our Hrishi
I
is
didn't
trying
even mention his name.
No,
I didn't
like,
even
come on, you're
mention
splitting
his
hairs
name
if you're saying like, oh, nobody still has T. Higgins. Like, yeah, T. Higgins is great, but T. Higgins is not like the level of Jamar Chase where you're like you take away his greatest receiver. You know, it's not like you gotta have. He has like something if he has T. Higgins.
Fair enough.
More than something.
Yeah.
T. Higgins is good, but like
T. Higgins is a great dude.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, he's an amazing receiver. But yeah, overall, he's not even on the same level as Jamar Chase in this league. But that's sorry, continue.
Okay, my thing was just like I had a question like, where do you think the sporting landscape will be in the next 5 years? By like end of the decade, already like you said, right? Like 2030.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think sports will be in terms of obviously like right like if you looked at 2000s, right? It was like football, sure. NBA was up there, but like the MLB dominated, right? And like now we look at it, MLB is like a strong third, but like it's slipping significantly. Hockey is growing tremendously. NBA and I think NFL's like by far
NFL's always been number one.
The NFL's been the one.
And then NBA's 2, and like MLB's 3, and then hockey's 4, let's say right now. 2030, let's think 2035. Where do you think the landscape will be?
Foreigners.
Hrishi, where do you think the landscape will be? But for real, where do you guys think the landscape will be?
Yeah, wait, honestly,
I think we reach a way bigger worldwide audience by that point. Like we see it with basketball. We're still waiting for it to happen with football, which is going to take a lot more time.
No, I guess what I meant was in terms of
MLB's always had that. MLB's had that for a long time.
I guess what I meant was more so like from the sports perspective,
like the actual
like, what do you
being played.
Rank the leagues.
Oh, rank the leagues. Oh, in
football will always be one. Football will always be one. I don't see that.
I think that's a fair assessment.
I'm not gonna lie. I see it staying very much the same, where it's football, basketball.
So where does soccer fit into this category? We're talking worldwide now. You know,
no.
Okay, if we're talking
US,
I think soccer goes up because of creators like Speed. Like, say what you want about like the creator industry, it does boost sales a lot. We see it with boxing, where like having influencers involved ups the sales a lot. I don't think you guys realize just the impact that people like Speed have had on the sport. It is actually crazy to see how many people he drives to the sport. Even though he's not even playing it seriously, like he just but he introduces the culture to them. He goes all around the world. He literally travels to every country. In these countries, he meets up with all these old legend footballers there, and he hangs out with them. He introduces so many people to the sport, where I think even in America, soccer is gonna rise up.
Plus Messi now, Messi's in all that stuff.
Miami. I think soccer could possibly take 3.
And
then
hockey, bro. You don't understand how big hockey is going to be.
You do not understand the growth that hockey's having.
I'm not gonna lie. No. I see the growth hockey's having, but I'm not gonna lie. I think the order stays the exact same. Baseball, you guys don't understand. Like baseball, you can say what you want. I know you guys have your bias against baseball. Baseball is America's pastime. Baseball is the American sport. Like, dude, baseball will always have its core viewership. Okay, and recently baseball has gotten better. They've been trying to improve. Like I don't watch it anymore. When I was younger, I watched it every now and then.
Dude,
But
the thing with
baseball
the
has such a hardcore viewership
yeah, that
that.
hardcore viewership is older people. It's getting
Oh, so you're saying
older
they're
and
gonna
older.
die?
Yeah, literally, yes. That's exactly what I'm telling you. I'm telling you, with the older population, that's gonna die. And their core audience will get smaller and smaller to a point where you can't pay the players. From that point, it's a negative feedback loop. And I think overall, the ratings have steadily gone down recently. And issues, it's like when there's no parity and suspense, sports go away. That's exactly what the MLB is. It's turning into like the soccer in Europe where like one team controls the league or two teams control the league, right? Except the thing with soccer in Europe is they're all legacy fan bases, and B, there's multiple different leagues. In MLB, there's just one major baseball league, and so because of that, there's two main, like the Yankees, Dodgers are like the main teams. Everyone goes there. They have the highest payroll. We've all watched Moneyball. You smaller markets cannot compete with them, and they're gonna lower their ratings over time to a point where I think, Ari, like you said, hockey or soccer will actually overtake them, and I think at that point they have a real big problem on their hands.
Eventually, soccer will just not by 2030. 2030 is too. I think we don't really have
2035.
close 20. Maybe
2035 is
maybe, like well, it's tough. I really don't know. Like I can't see hockey ever actually overtaking the third spot. Like hockey is very big. I know it's growing, but like right now they're doing that whole tournament thing that they have going on. But like
finished it, yeah.
yeah, I don't see it overtaking baseball, at least right now.
Really?
Wow.
I kind of do, man. I think,
do.
dude, hockey is a sport that's I think is going to grow like worldwide as well. I don't think it's going to be U.S. Canada centered. I feel like it's a sport that all these different countries can play, and I know
Baseball
all these
already
different
is
countries,
worldwide. Baseball already is worldwide.
right? But I'm just saying, like you look at
Bro, it's mainly in like
current
two
sentiment,
countries, bro.
Japan
Okay,
and
right now
USA
hockey is two countries.
No, it is not.
Hockey is also predominantly two countries.
predominantly.
Which
If
are
you if you are going to say
Canada,
baseball
US.
is only two countries, then you have to give me that hockey is also predominantly two countries.
no,
You
it is
can.
not.
Which other
What?
countries are dominating in hockey, man?
Russia, Canada, Sweden has an insane team.
Oh yeah,
Finland has an like that entire like upper level like that the Northern Europe is insane in hockey, dude. In
How many of those
baseball,
players are coming here to play?
okay, well they've made enough Finland and Sweden players to have a four-team group in the NHL. A, B,
Really? Okay.
Russian some of the greatest players like Alexander Ovechkin. You're telling me he's not Russian? Like
yeah,
right?
Ovechkin.
People like that like significant influence in baseball is Japan and Cuba. Other than the US,
Dominican
I'm saying.
Republic,
Yeah, like that area, right?
Puerto Rico.
So dude, that's
Still small scale.
Oh,
like
what? Same
very-
area? Huh? That what you want
it's
to
the
say?
same region for sure. It's the same region for sure. So
Yeah, no, I have to agree with Premier. Like it may be a little bit of recency bias, like probably a lot of recency bias as well, but that's just kind of how sports work. It's all based off, what people find interesting in the short term. And if we're talking short term of 5 years, it's looking like hockey might outgrow baseball. Like baseball is already here and compared to hockey, but we're talking about growth. Hockey will definitely be growing faster. The viewership is skyrocketing. I think this year has just been like the year where you've seen that like people who don't watch hockey, people who
by
don't
the
know
way,
about hockey, it's such an easy sport to follow. Like such an easy sport to follow. You don't have to know about anything. You just have to
and
know that the
fights,
puck, the
they're the one
fights,
team that
right?
that condones fights.
Exactly. And all you have to know is the puck has to go in the net. There's no crazy rules.
Yeah.
Maybe the power plays, but you can figure it out.
Yeah.
And
you can
Ari,
figure it out.
it's
And
much
Ari,
better. It's 100% objectively much more interesting to like a new viewer than baseball will be, which is
I
why
know
it's
it, but
easier
Ari,
for people
Ari,
to like join into the sport.
you want to
as a
know
viewer.
something that's crazy, which is why I think it's gonna happen sooner than you think. The baseball drop off. ESPN just made a decision to not renew their rights to baseball, so they're taking
Really?
baseball completely out of their network because they thought $550
Damn.
million was too much of a commitment.
So where is it going
And
to go now?
Huh? No idea.
Where's
I
it
think
gonna go?
TNT and CBS or something. I don't know.
Damn.
But ESPN is no longer having baseball, and that's given the fact that they already paid them along with Amazon and a lot of different streaming services paid $76 billion to the NBA over 11 years for their streaming rights. and they can't afford, or they think it's not a good investment to have 550 million to or to baseball. So
Well,
what does
that's not
that
a
tell
question.
you?
Well, that's not a question comparing it
No,
to
no,
the
but
NBA.
even that
We're
though.
talking about MLB to NHL because NBA and football are clear. Like those two are not getting
Right, but
touched.
not even adopting that. That's kind of
Yeah,
crazy.
it is crazy. Yeah,
So
yeah.
that should tell you. But I don't know. It's
Yeah.
very interesting. Going forward to see what happens.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I think I can be. Yeah, so okay, well, let's go over our final rankings just one time, just so that we're all clear. I think we're all pretty much in agreement that football, basketball,
Mhm.
we put hockey at third, we put baseball at fourth, um,
And
and then
soccer. fifth.
soccer.
I think soccer does. I think soccer
That's
could
hard, bro.
overtake baseball if you're saying hockey's growth is that much.
No. But if we're talking MLS, I don't think it'll outgrow.
Yeah, it's
I
not
don't
going to
think it'll
grow.
outgrow
MLS is
baseball. If
not
we're
going to.
talking
We're
just
talking about
MLS,
If you're
USA.
just
We're
talking
talking about
American
USA.
Yeah.
leagues,
Like
oh okay.
American leagues.
I was thinking about American viewership.
Not like the Premier,
Okay.
not the Champs, like not all.
Okay.
That's different. That's a whole different
Yeah.
scale.
Yeah.
We're not on the same scale. But we're talking MLS. MLS is probably dead bottom.
You
Rock
never know
bottom.
though. You never know because like if with more American viewers watching the Premier League and all those different leagues outside of our country, the more viewers that are there, the more like motivation there is for these teams
Yeah.
here to try to grab these players and bring them here. There's more motivation for the players to actually want to come here because then they could be the sole like leader of these teams where there's not as much competition for them.
Yeah. I think it's going to be interesting 5 years, to be honest. I'm glad that we brought up this point. I'm going to go watch some Tom Brady, like, monumental TikToks after this. But just to kind of wrap up today's episode, because I kind of enjoy the conversations that we had, because I feel like I've had a perspective shift on a lot of things today.
The
A
villains
lot of
for
things,
sure, dude.
the villains
Yeah.
for sure. I feel like that was like such a big perspective shift, and I've never really thought about Darth Vader in that way because everyone just has like the notion that he's just this villain. That's just the way he's described. So I definitely think that was a very interesting conversation that we had. So if you guys ever want to see more conversations like those, just let us know, and we'll definitely talk about more stuff like that. But overall, thank you guys so much for watching. I think we had a great time this week, and we'll catch you guys next time. See you.
Peace out.
Peace.